After 40 years of hard work, I thought I had finally earned a peaceful life. But one morning, my own son-in-law stood in my living room and told me something I never expected to hear. "You have to leave. This house is no longer yours." I looked at my daughter, waiting for her to defend me, but she just stood there silently. Then she walked toward me, threw an old broken bag at my feet, and said, "Take your trash with you." My heart broke. The daughter I raised, the child I protected my entire life, was now watching me get thrown out of my own home. I left that house carrying nothing but that damaged bag. I thought it was filled with useless things from my past, but when I opened it later, I found a bank account with $700,000 and a note that revealed a secret my daughter had hidden from me for years. My name is Robert, and for most of my life, I believed family was the only thing that truly mattered. I spent 40 years building a life that I was proud of. I worked every job I could find. I saved money. I repaired my old house with my own hands. That house was more than just walls and a roof. Every corner carried memories. The kitchen where my wife and I cooked together. The backyard where my daughter played when she was a little girl. The small bedroom where I used to read her bedtime stories. That house was my entire life. After my wife passed away, my daughter Emily became the only family I had left. I thought we would always be close, but everything changed after she married Michael. At first, Michael seemed like a good man. He was polite. He spoke kindly. He told me he respected me, but slowly, things started changing. Small comments became bigger problems. He started saying things like, "You should think about downsizing. This house is too much for one person. You don't need all this space anymore." I ignored it because I didn't want conflict. I wanted my daughter to be happy, but I never imagined those words were only the beginning. One evening, I came home and found Emily and Michael sitting in my living room. Their faces were serious. I immediately knew something was wrong. Michael looked at me and said, "We need to talk." I sat down. "What happened?" He placed some papers on the table. "We have decided that you should sell this house." I stared at him. "What?" He continued. "You're getting older. Managing this place is unnecessary. The money from the sale could be used better." I looked at my daughter. "Emily, is this what you want?" She avoided eye contact. That silence hurt more than anything. I had spent my entire life protecting her, and now she couldn't even look at me. I refused. I told them this house was my home, the place where I had memories with her mother, the place where I wanted to spend my remaining years. But Michael became angry. He told me I was being selfish. A few weeks later, things became even worse. They started pressuring me every day. They made me feel like a stranger inside my own home. Then came the day I will never forget. I woke up early that morning and heard voices downstairs. When I walked into the living room, I saw Michael holding a suitcase. My daughter was standing beside him. Michael looked at me and said, "It's time." I felt confused. "Time for what?" He pointed toward the door. "You need to leave." I thought he was joking, but he wasn't. My own daughter stood there while her husband removed me from the house I built. I looked at Emily with tears in my eyes. "Are you really letting this happen?" She said nothing. Then she picked up an old damaged bag from the corner. She threw it toward me. "Take your trash with you." Those words destroyed something inside me. I picked up the bag, not because it mattered, but because it was the only thing they allowed me to take. I walked out of my home while my neighbors watched. The same neighbors who had seen me plant trees, repair fences, and spend decades building my life. I felt completely broken. For several days, I stayed in a small rented room. I didn't know what to do. I opened the old bag my daughter had thrown at me. Inside were old photographs, letters, some personal items, but underneath everything was a hidden envelope. I was confused. I opened it. Inside was a bank document. My hands started shaking. It was an account with $700,000. I couldn't understand. Then I found a handwritten note. The note was from my late wife. My heart stopped. The letter said, "Robert, if you are reading this, something has happened that I hoped never would." I continued reading. Years earlier, my wife had secretly saved money from her inheritance. She created an account for our daughter, but she didn't want Emily to receive it immediately. She wanted Emily to learn responsibility first. The money was supposed to be used only when Emily truly needed help. But there was another part of the letter. My wife wrote, "Robert, protect our daughter, but don't allow anyone to destroy you." I read those words again and again. Then I noticed something else. The account had been recently accessed. Someone had tried to move the money. The bank records showed Michael's name. Suddenly everything became clear. This was never about the house. It was about money. Michael had discovered the account and tried to control everything. But he didn't know my wife had left instructions with the bank. I contacted a lawyer. The investigation began. Within weeks, the truth came out. Michael had manipulated my daughter. He convinced her that forcing me out was the easiest way to gain control of my assets. Emily finally realized what had happened. One evening, she came to see me. She was crying. She apologized. She said, "Dad, I was wrong. I let someone change me." I listened, because she was still my daughter. But I also learned an important lesson. Forgiveness does not mean forgetting. Love does not mean allowing someone to destroy your dignity. I eventually moved into a smaller home, a peaceful place. A place where I could start again. And that old broken bag, I kept it, because it reminded me that sometimes the things people throw away can contain the greatest treasures. Life teaches us lessons in unexpected ways. Sometimes the people closest to us can hurt us the most. But pain can also reveal strength we never knew we had. Never measure your worth by how someone treats you. Your value does not disappear because someone fails to recognize it. And remember, a person can take your house, they can take your money, they can take your possessions, but they can never take your memories, your dignity, and the lessons life has given you. Because in the end, the truth always finds its way back.